Hi guys, my name is Austin Schleeter, PDJ number 92759, and today I'm going to go over my 2017 in the bag. I am pretty brand loyal to Trilogy. That is everything that is in my bag, and we're going to go through from putters all the way up to distance drivers on what I carry. To start out with, we're going to start with my two classic prime dynamic disc judges. This one is a little bit more stiff than this one. This is my go-to normal putter, but if I need a little more of an approach putter, this is kind of the putter I use. And then the owl stamp is my go-to putter for just a regular approach putting. So those are my two primary putters, and then in front here, I have a classic soft judge putter, a little bit more understable than my other two putters, and I use this one for more anti-putts around trees, when I'm maybe at a straddle putt, just a little bit more understable to get that better angle for the position that I am. But this is a classic soft dynamic disc judge. Okay, so with those are my three actual putters. I do have two driving putters in the bag. The first one here is the Latitude 64 Optoline Pure. You will notice that in my bag, my primary color scheme is neon yellow. I like that color, and I feel that it's easier to find if something was to get into a tree or a bush. It also makes great for night rounds. But this is one of my driving putters. It's more of a understable short range putter. I like to use it for a soft glide down to the basket. I know I can get it to go pretty straight with a little bit of a hyzer, but that is the Optoline Pure. Next, we're going to get into a newer one in my bag, and that is the Lucid Dynamic Disc Slammer. This just got released not too long ago. I did recently have a black first run slammer, and I loved it. And then once I found out that they came out with the Lucid Slammers, I was ecstatic. So this is a super overstable putter. I love using this putter for drives off the tee pad, maybe a little bit of windier days, maybe short pin placements, 150, 250 feet, maybe even 300 if it's the right angle. But very versatile. And with the new Lucid plastic, I am very excited with having it in this plastic now. So that's the Dynamic Disc Slammer. Now we're going to get into my mid-ranges and approach. We're going to go from most understable to most stable mid-range here. To start off with, I have the Lucid Dynamic Disc Warrant, and this is a understable mid-range. I like this for obviously good ante shots. I do a lot of backhanding, and so with the lack of having a decent forehand, backhand, I have to learn to manipulate my disc to do what others can do with the forehand, and that's why I use the Lucid Warrant, because it has a good right fade to it with the right amount of power. But yeah, that is the Dynamic Disc Warrant. And I have this is one of my newer additions to my bag. That is the Latitude 64 Optoline Sake Bomb Compass. Here recently, I've been watching obviously Ricky Wysocki, brand new world champion, and he recommends that compass. I just have thrown a few rounds with it so far, and it's a very good straight flyer for me. I know that I can put it out, a good 200 to 300 foot without it, dumping one way or the other, given the wind conditions. Now, if it's a little bit more windier days, I do have better disc in my bag for that, which we'll see here in just a second. But overall, great disc, the Optoline Compass. For the longest time, my go-to straight mid-range was the Dynamic Disc EMAC Truth, which is more overstable than the regular Truth. This is the Lucid plastic. and I enjoy this one again. It's a little bit more stable than the Compass, but not as quite as stable as my next disc, which is the Anchor. But I do enjoy this one. I can get to go extremely straight with very little fade, or I'm sorry, very little turn to the right, and with a soft fade back left for a good finish. It does sit pretty flat for me, and I enjoy throwing this out in the fairway and for approach shots. So that is the Lucid Dynamic Disc Truth. Next one, like I said, is a newer one as well, and that's the Optoline Latitude 64 Anchor. This is more overstable than my EMAC Truth. I just recently started throwing this disc. I enjoy this disc a lot so far. It is becoming one of my favorite discs in the bag, and I know I can do a lot with this, with it being, if it's windy, it might stand it up and go for a longer distance. If it's a calm day, I know I can put it out a little bit farther, and it has a good fade back to the left. Doesn't turn over very much, but it is new to my bag, and I look forward to getting a couple more of these to put in my bag as well. That is the Optoline Latitude 64 Anchor. Alright, now we're going to get into more of my fairway drivers. I have a few fairway drivers that I use, but then I'm also kind of getting out of. The first one that we're going to talk about is the Dynamic Disc Lucid Escape. It's a very straight fairway driver for me. With that only being at a 9-speed, I do have a higher arm speed, so I do take a little power off to get this to do what it needs to do. But I do know that if I put a little bit more than 9 power into it, I can get a good right turn out of it, but not too much to where it will finish straight, and it has a great glide that I enjoy to get a calm landing instead of a hard hit to the land where it might cut roll to the wrong direction that I don't want it to. I use this one a lot in short open holes, or maybe tight tunnel shots that are in the woods, and it does really good for me. If I get a good skip off of it, sometimes it helps as well. But that is the Lucid Dynamic Disc Escape. The next one is a little bit more overstable than the Escape, and that is the Page Pierce Lucid Dynamic Disc Convict. Again, this one I've used quite a bit, and I do enjoy it, and it has made its permanent spot in my bag. This is good for maybe a little bit windier days. I put on a little bit more of a hyzer, and put a little bit more power onto it to get some distance out of it. But I enjoy using this one for, again, maybe some open shots around some trees, or a shot that has the pin placement just a little bit out to the left. I know I can get this going out there, and it'll cut through the wind pretty good, as long as it's not super windy out. But that is the Page Pierce Lucid Convict. The next one is a 2015 Fall Disc Golf Classic Lucid Felon, and this is my most go-to fairway driver. I can make it go straight. I can get good hyzer out of it. I can flip it over a little bit to get a little bit more distance. I can even get a flick roller going for it, and I enjoy it a lot. It's usually if it's a mild, calm day, this is my very good trusty go-to disc that I do look forward to getting a few more in the bag of it. This one is beat in a little bit. Might get another more of a newer one to be a little bit more stable, but that's right now that's my only one. But this is the Lucid Felon from Dynamic Disc. Now we're going to get into my distance drivers. We're going to again start from most understable to most stable. And the first one I use is the Dynamic Disc Lucid Renegade. This one I use a lot for rollers that will cut really soon, and more of a distance roller to get out, get a little bit farther out, but it does cut a lot quicker than my next two discs. It is a little bit lighter weight at 171, and it works really well in the wind for dumping it over a little bit to keep it standing straight, depending on which direction that's going. But overall, the Lucid Renegade is one of my most go-to distance roller disc. And yeah. Alright, so next I have the West Side Tournament Plastic King. This one I use for distance and shots. Again, like I said, I am more of a predominant backhander. I do not have much of a forehand on me, but I can manipulate this King very well to get a good distance and shot that will eventually finish a little bit left for me with a soft touch. Also, what I can do with this is if I put a little bit more ante onto it, it'll crash hard and possibly give me a cut roll, or it'll, again, like I said, just stick and stop into the ground. It is a little bit beat in, and like I said, it does very well for me for right-handed distance right-hand turns that maybe I can't get with a flick or a small roller with my Renegade. And I know as well, if I wanted to, I can use this as a distance roller that will go pretty straight for me. And at that point, I know that I can control this a little bit on multiple different levels, depending on what the course is asking of me. So enjoyable, love it. That is the West Side Tournament Plastic King. Okay. This one's a newer one to my bag, and that is a Optoline Saint misprint. I haven't got a lot of work with this one yet, but I have gotten a few throws in with it, and it's a pretty straight distance driver for me. Also, like I was saying earlier, I can put this one on a roller, and it will go pretty straight as a roller as well. But I do like to use this one for wide open, just straight shots, or even tree lines. Being on both sides, you get a good line going with that. Again, still got to get a lot of work in with this, but I'm very excited to have this in my bag. That is the the Gold Line Saint by Latitude 64. Next one I have in the bag is the Lucid Dynamic Disc Trespass, and this one I use for distance drivers to kind of give me more of a natural S shape out of the disc instead of having to put it on an ante or hyzer. I can throw it pretty flat, and then it'll fade out or turn out for me, and then you have a good fade back with the negative 0.5 is 3. I really enjoy this disc. It's done well for me. I used to throw the Lucid Air of the Trespass, but it started getting way too flippy for me. So I upped it up to the regular heavier weight Trespass, and it hasn't let me down since. I enjoy throwing it. I know I can get it to go 400 or 500 foot easily on a good S line. So that is the Lucid Dynamic Disc Trespass. The next one I have in my bag, I actually just had to replace this one. It's the Fusion Dynamic Disc Defender, and this is, I believe, a 173 weight. This one is one of my favorite discs. This one's a little bit more beefier than what the one I lost here recently. So got to get it beat in a little bit, or give me another one to put in the bag to fade out a little bit more. But right now this one's super new, and it's not beat in, so it is a little bit beefier than what I'm used to. But it still does extremely well for me. I can throw it out on a small ante line, and it will turn out and fade back. But it does have a harder fade, so I know if it's a windier day, I can throw this and still get good distance on it, and it won't flip over on me in the wind. So this is one of my favorite discs to throw, and that's the Fusion Defender for Dynamic Disc. The next one I've had for a while, and this one's super beat in, and that is the Fusion Enforcer from Dynamic Disc. The Enforcer I use on multiple occasions, super windy days for distance drivers, or for wooded tunnel shots that either have a good line that I can get it out into the air, or if I have to keep it low, I know I can get a good skip out of it. As you can see, it is beat in a little bit because I use it a lot. Again, it's one of my favorite discs in the bag. This one and the Defender for distance drivers at least. and hopefully soon I can find a yellow Fusion Enforcer to kind of go along with the rest of the theme in my bag. But overall, very overstable, and it's starting to get a little bit flippier on me as I use it more. So again, looking to get multiples of each of my disc, but overall, I do enjoy throwing this disc for a bunch of good hyzer shots. And that is the Fusion Enforcer. Next is a newer one, and that is the West Side Disc World in the VIP plastic. This is a new one in my bag, and I've enjoyed it so far. I know it will, it's a pretty predictable disc for me. I know whichever way, however I throw it, anti-hyzer flat, it's going to finish left. Again, this is getting more towards the stability side of my bag. And this one is another one that I watched Ricky Wysocki throw, and I thought I would try it out just to see how it would go for me, and it's proven fairly well for me. Still got to get some practice in with it, but so far I enjoy it a lot. I can get really good distance, 400 plus shots out of this, with a little bit harder fade back to the left than what maybe my defender would do for me. So I look forward to getting more throws with this in the future. I do have tournaments coming up here that I'm going to be using it in. I know there's a few wide open distance shots I can use this with, and it's very good for fighting in the wind as well. So that is the West Side Disc World in the VIP plastic. The last disc that's in my bag is the Optoline Stiletto. Most overstable disc I carry, have carried, and probably will carry. This one is very good for obviously super windy days. I can forehand this for what little forehand I do have, or I can backhand it, and again throw it on ante, straight, whatever it may be. And this one's it's very, very predictable. It's always going to finish left, and it's going to finish left hard. So with that in mind, I know I can, if I have a difficult shot that's, left-handed or is, right-handed with a sharp turn, or I need a spike hyzer or something of that nature, this is my go-to disc for that because of the overstability that it does carry with it. Just got it here recently. Been doing a lot of changes to my bag to accommodate different styles, been growing, been learning. And so far, all the changes I've made, including the stiletto, has worked out really well for me. So again, that is the Optoline Latitude 64 Stiletto. Well, that's pretty much everything in my bag. As you can see, I do have the Commander OGO Dynamic Disc bag, and with the front pouch here, the side pockets, and the top pouch here. Bag's worked out for me. It holds everything that I need, and I couldn't be happier, with this. It's done everything, and it's never let me down. Carries everything I need, even multiples of some of the discs that I used to carry, and hopefully can start making multiples of it in my bag as I currently do. And as you can see, I am also sitting on a lovely dynamic disc stool. Carry this inside my bag. To help, for those tournaments that, might get caught up, or just, casual play that you want to take a break, sit down while some other players are throwing. Very comfortable. I enjoy it a lot. But yeah, that's my bag in a nutshell. Like I said, I do look to improve it, and hopefully this helps some other disc golfers out there kind of get some different ideas on what to put in their bags. I hope I was a good help, and if you have any questions, please leave comments below, hit like, and if I get enough likes and stuff like that, I can start making more videos and do some more reviews, some throw reviews on some discs if you'd like. Whatever you'd like to see me do, just please comment below, and again, I will see you till next time. Thanks.